Hi guys, so in connection with the video I just posted about the potential scenario of North Korea reneging on its denuclearization offer and backtracking to where they were before, basically going back to stage one with the nuclear tests and the missile tests and stuff like that. Um, North Korea casts further doubt on summit and warns US of nuclear showdown. So the scenario that I was presenting in the last video, just there's still obviously a high chance that it's not going to happen, but it's taken a step towards a higher possibility with this rhetoric coming out of North Korea. So North Korea cast further doubt on planned summit between its leader Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, warning that Pyongyang could make the US taste an appalling tragedy. And obviously, if they do launch a missile into the Pacific and it does affect Hawaii um, in some way by affecting the volcano there, earthquake, tsunami, that would be an appalling tragedy. So it's possible that may be a scenario, but it's possible it could be something else. But, the foreign minister, Chon Son-hu, said in a statement on Thursday, if the talks are cancelled, basically the two countries could engage in a nuclear-to-nuclear showdown. And obviously we've heard this kind of rhetoric coming out of North Korea and out of the US leading up to this point. But for the last couple of months, it's been all peace and safety talks, and now we kind of all of a sudden taken a dramatic switch, which, in my opinion, is right on time. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days. But obviously, this is something I think that's important as to whether North Korea are going to follow through with their denuclearization or whether they're going to go back to provocative actions, which will probably, garner a response from Donald Trump in terms of, okay, that's it. As they've already warned anyway, so it's not as if it's a guess here. If the talks don't go well or the talks don't happen, it's likely that they'll try a bloody nose strike or something along those lines, and that's where China gets involved on the Korean Peninsula. So that's one scenario over there, and then you've got the scenario of if that happens in terms of North Korea firing a missile out of their country and it, going into the Pacific Ocean, affecting Hawaii. Obviously, Israel and the US are going to be looking at Iran like, well, we're going to stop you before you get to that same point. Because obviously they're going to blame the previous administrations for not doing anything sooner to stop North Korea. And they'll take preventive action against Iran, which means a direct attack on Iran. So what's interesting for me is Iran has put out this list of 7 things it demands Europe do in order to maintain the Iran nuclear deal. Otherwise, it comes to an end and Iran resume their nuclear activities. So, number one, over the course of 2 years, US violated JCPOA several times while the Europeans remained silent. These 3 European countries, that's the UK, France, and Germany, should prove that they won't be as dishonest and untrustworthy as they were during nuclear talks in 2004 to 2005. Europe needs to compensate for it. Number 2, the US has violated Resolution 2231. Europe must issue a resolution against US's violation of it. Number 3, Europe must guarantee it will not raise the issue of the Islamic Republic's missiles and regional affairs. Number 4, Europe must guarantee the total sale of Iran's oil. If US manages to impede our oil sale, we should be able to sell our desired amount of oil. Europeans should, in a guaranteed manner, compensate for it and buy Iran's oil. Number 5, European banks must guarantee business transactions with the Islamic Republic. We do not have any disputes with these 3 countries. However, we do not trust them either because of their past actions. Number 6, Europe must confront imposition of any sanctions on the Islamic Republic and stand firmly against US sanctions on Iran. And number 7, in conclusion, Iran's supreme leader warned that if the Europeans hesitate in responding to our demands, Iran is entitled to resuming its nuclear activities. When we find out the JCPOA has no benefits, one of our options is to resume cancelled activities. So you can see there that obviously it's not going to be something that Europe can do, all those demands, particularly the last one, stand firmly against US sanctions on Iran. That is obviously drawing a line in the sand which I don't think the Europeans are going to want to cross. So Iran essentially could restart their, you know, nuclear program, which obviously Donald Trump and Israel is not going to allow to go ahead. So the next report kind of connects to that, where Israel could use US warplanes to hit nuclear site in Iran, and it just goes to show you there's a very close relationship between the United States and Israel. So Israel, the Israeli military announced that it is the first country to deploy US-made F-35 stealth fighters in combat. Israeli F-35s struck targets twice recently on two different fronts in the Middle East. Israeli Air Force Commander Maj General Amikam Norkin said, according to Israeli newspapers, the deployment underlines the growing risk that Israel might unilaterally strike Iran, potentially instigating a wider conflict in the Middle East. The last time Israel obtained cutting-edge US-made warplanes and used them in combat before any other country, it arguably accelerated the region's nuclearization. So, to me, all of these reports that I've just listed out to you, they only kind of lend more weight to the potential scenario that I laid out in the previous video. So there's a possibility of Iran, starting up their nuclear site again. Israel's using US warplanes. It could unilaterally strike Iran nuclear site there. And that may be the one missile that we see in the IPEC GOAT video from the three warplanes. And then obviously there's a response. A direct attack on Iran is going to get a response directly from Iran and possibly from Russia as well, which has fighter jets and bombers there since, April the 13th, I believe it was, Friday the 13th, when the US, France and the UK, struck struck some targets in Syria after the alleged chemical attack. So a lot going on, and then you've obviously got the potential for North Korea to go back to its provocative ways, maybe launch a missile, maybe a H-bomb nuclear missile. Who knows? They said they would do it. The foreign minister at the time said that Kim Jong-un should be taken at his word when he made that threat/promise. So it could be that that may come in the next, I don't know, coming days, coming hours. And then obviously after that, things spiral pretty quickly. So I just wanted to bring those updates to you guys. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.